April 1st, Texas SNAP recipients will no longer be able to buy candy or sugary drinks with their Lone Star cards. We'll discuss this and more of today's top headlines. I'm Ernie Manus. Plus, the Houston-based a cappella ensemble Space City Sound. We'll talk about their upcoming performance on the UH campus.
And I'm Frank Billingsley. And as always, we want to hear from you. Give us a call or text us at 713-440-8870 or email us, talk@hellohouston.org. You can also watch us live on YouTube by going to houstonpublicmedia.org.
All this and more right here on Hello Houston after the news from NPR and News 88.7.
Hello Houston is made possible in part by founding sponsors John Bradshaw and Kathy Sanders, by Metro, and by gifts from listeners like you.
Live from NPR News, I'm Lakshmi Singh. As the U.S.-Israel war rages in the Middle East, more American troops have died in the conflict against Iran. U.S. Central Command says a military refueling plane carrying 6 crew members crashed in western Iraq. All 6 died. General Dan Kane, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, said this morning it happened in friendly airspace but was not the result of hostile or friendly fire.
We're still treating this as an active rescue and recovery operation. As CENTCOM announced this morning, 4 airmen have been recovered.
U.S. CENTCOM says a second plane involved in the encounter landed safely. Since the start of the war, at least 7 other American troops have been killed in action. With oil and gas shipments blocked from getting through the Strait of Hormuz because of the war, Brent crude oil again topped $100 a barrel today. Yesterday, Iran's new supreme leader said in his first public statement that his country will continue to block the globally vital shipping waterway. Meanwhile, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky says the Trump administration's decision to temporarily lift sanctions on Russian oil will only empower the Kremlin. NPR's Joanna Kakissis has more from Kyiv.
The Trump administration says the temporary relief will last until April 11th and is supposed to cool oil prices, which have shot up since the U.S. and Israel began their war on Iran. The U.S. says it applies only to Russian oil already in transit and will not help Russia much financially. Speaking to reporters in Paris, Zelensky said that's not the case. This single concession by the United States could provide Russia with approximately $10 billion to fund the war, Zelensky said. This certainly does not bring us any closer to peace. Zelensky spoke alongside French President Emmanuel Macron, who said there is no justification for lifting these sanctions. Joanna Kakissis, NPR News, Kyiv.
The Department of Homeland Security is identifying the person who attacked a synagogue in Michigan yesterday as 41-year-old Ayman Mohammed Ghazali. They say the man rammed his truck into Temple Israel in West Bloomfield outside Detroit. Alex McLennan of member station WDET reports Ghazali was a naturalized citizen from Lebanon, where the mayor of Mashgara tells an NPR producer some of the suspects' relatives were killed in Israeli strikes last week.
NPR has confirmed that 2 of Ghazali's brothers and 2 of his brother's children were killed by Israeli airstrikes in Lebanon last week. His parents were wounded. Authorities are still investigating the act at Temple Israel in Michigan as an act of terrorism and have not yet shared a motive. 30 first responders were treated for smoke inhalation, and a security guard who was struck by Ghazali's vehicle was checked at a local hospital. Nobody inside the building was killed.
That's Alex McLennan reporting. From Washington, this is NPR News.
Live from News 88.7 in Houston, I'm Alexandra Hart. Texas is already on track for a record turnover in its congressional delegation at the end of this year, with a dozen members not coming back in 2027. That number could rise if 1 or more incumbents lose their May primary runoffs. Craig Bolden of the University of Virginia says there's a wide range of causes for the large turnover.
From the redistricting, from the progressive ambition of seeking a Senate seat, from the fear that some Republicans have of a blue wave coming, from natural retirement after being late in the career, from some primary election losses and potentially general election losses. And so almost a perfect storm in all of those things hitting Texas at the same time.
Large retirement numbers mean a loss of seniority, which translates to a loss of legislative effectiveness for Texas and Washington. The Harris County Jail has been found in compliance with the state's minimum jail standards for the first time in over a year. News 88.7's Sarah Gruno reports.
The jail was issued a compliance certificate after a state inspection on Wednesday. Texas jails are required to meet 26 different criteria mandated by the Texas Commission on Jail Standards. Before this week's inspection, the jail was last found out of compliance in December for fire control panel issues. The inspection team also discovered inmates were sometimes not transported to scheduled doctor appointments or emergency room visits. The commission issued the certificate after the county's persistent failure to comply with state standards, an issue that nearly led to an intervention by Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton last year. The State Jail Commission issued a remedial order to address several issues of noncompliance in the Harris County Jail last year. I'm Sarah Gruno, News 88.7.
The now former athletic director for TSU says his reputation has been tarnished by someone with financial motivation. Kevin Granger has been on administrative leave since last June, pending an investigation into sexual misconduct against a university staff member. TSU fired Granger last month. He maintains his innocence. I'm Alexandra Hart, News 88.7.
Support for NPR comes from NPR stations. Other contributors include Progressive, with small business insurance for protecting a variety of business types with multiple coverage options, designed to fit business owners' needs. More about small business insurance is at progressivecommercial.com.
Live from the University of Houston, it's Hello Houston, an open forum on today's biggest stories affecting Houston and beyond. Call now, 713-440-8870, or let us know your thoughts on today's topics by emailing us at talk@hellohouston.org. Now here's your host for Hello Houston, Ernie Manous, Celeste Diaz-Sherman, and Frank Billingsley.
Hello, Houston.
Hello there. Celeste has the day off, so it's a boys' club in here today.
Hey, nice day for it. Friday, beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
I know. I like Fridays that are gorgeous, going into a gorgeous weekend.
When you were younger, way back then, do you remember when it used to be like Thursday night was the beginning of the weekend? Like, we always would go out on Thursday, and we always seemed to forget we had to work on Friday. And we always started, this was all through college, and you're looking at me like, what are you talking about?
No, because all through college, you want to know the truth?
Yeah.
I would party Friday night and Saturday night, and I was back in the library on Sunday. And I studied every day until Friday night. So I learned to party hard, eat quick, and study.
Well, I learned to eat quick.
I did too, because I would, even like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I would go and go eat dinner in about 15 minutes to get back to what we called the Hill, which is where the library was.
Yeah.
And so I double majored. I studied, and I didn't know how I was going to make money. So I figured I better study until I figured that out.
Yeah, I never knew how I would make money, and I just stumbled into this career, and I'm lucky I did.
Me too.
I've said it before. I went to college to learn how to direct music videos, because that was going to be a lucrative career.
Yeah, that was going to last forever.
Yeah, and my idea was I wanted to be a director, but I had no patience for like a year shoot. But I thought, wow, 3-minute, 5-minute video, I could do that.
Funny.
And in school, I stumbled into announcing and hosting a radio show. And I was like, I don't need any equipment. I don't need a crew. I just need to talk. And I found my life and my livelihood. And thanks to Houston Public Media for the last 30 years, they've kept me in blue jeans and sunglasses.
Well, I told you Alan Hunter and I went to the same high school.
Yeah.
MTV. He was one of the first MTV
Right.
hosts.
He was one of the VJs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
You guys the same age-ish?
No, he's about 3 years older than I am.
Really?
I believe he was a senior when I was a.
So you didn't know him, or did you?
No, only enough to say I want my quarterback. We would go to his assemblies. He was a bit of a guitar player and singer.
Yeah.
We had a bunch of those, and he was pretty talented. But and he really kind of went to New York to become, I think, a singer songwriter kind of guy, and fell into the MTV thing and.
That Hollywood. MTV thing, the birth of that, and just recently they finally shut down MTV, the mothership as we knew it. But for so long it wasn't what it was in the 80s, which was that a video radio station basically,
it was
playing
the first
the
of its
music,
kind.
and so influential. If you didn't come from that time, You can't even begin to imagine the impact it had. It was kind of like maybe TikTok on today's generation. Everybody watched it. Everyone ran home to catch what were the new videos.
Yep.
A premiere night of a music video.
Yeah. And when it set the stage at a bar, a pool club or whatever, and it was everywhere.
And the visualization gave us the culture of the 80s, the look of the 80s, then fed into the Miami Vice look and all of that. I mean, it's just such an, okay, so we romanticize it. There were a lot of horrible things that went on in the 80s.
Well, I'm
just
surprised
like in every generation.
Have they done a documentary on it yet?
Oh, yeah, there's a great book called I Want My MTV, which is kind of like an oral history of MTV. And
that was their line, because a lot of cable stations were not putting it on.
Yeah.
And they said, call and demand it. I want my MTV.
Well, we talk about the impact of entertainment, and this weekend is a big one. It's Oscar weekend, and we're going to talk about that coming up on today's show. If you've seen the movies or have opinions on the movies, start giving us a call. Dave Morales from Backstage OL will be with us to talk about all the gossip, the headlines, the predictions, all of that coming up a little bit later in the show. But we want to know what you think, and did you follow the movies this year?
And I want to know this. You were on Houston Matters this morning.
Yes.
And you said you would be okay flying in a flying car.
I love the idea of a flying car.
No, but you would actually...
Yes, me, the one who hates helicopters and is deathly afraid of them, for some reason think flying cars are better.
That doesn't explain anything to me.
It doesn't.
You really would? I'm not sure. I thought you said you wouldn't even get into a driverless car.
Right. I don't like those either.
So if Uber stopped and there was no driver and it just said open the door and get in, you wouldn't.
Yeah, I don't like that one. But I think Craig summed it up right when we were talking about this. He's like, you grew up on the Jetsons. And I think that's part of it, We just think, jump into your little...
MTV, the Jetsons. This is your retro show, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm enjoying this
there's
one
a
today.
microphone in the middle of our studio that I've never seen this before since we started.
We're going to have live music today.
From
Space City Choir is going to join us, and they've got a show coming up on the U of H campus, and it's Space City Sound, and they're an a cappella group.
Oh, wonderful!
And so they're gonna be in the show a little later on.
Did you know my biological father was a lead a cappella singer? Lead.
In a barbershop quartet?
No,
right?
he had it was a whole group out in California, in Sacramento. And he had a beautiful voice.
How's your voice?
I did not inheret that. I inherited my biological mother's raspy Arkansas voice is what I got from her. He didn't leave me that. Or any of his children. He had 3.
Yeah. None of you have turned out to be
None
singers.
of us could sing. But he sure could. So that would have been a nice life. I wouldn't have been a weatherman, I guess.
Yeah, but then you have to wonder, there are so many people who have the ability to sing and
As
so
we
few
found
who
out,
to make it.
Yeah. I mean, how many American Idols and voice winners and all of that really get there like Kelly Clarkson?
But how many can tell us what's going to happen in the weather and
Me,
be
I can do that.
beloved?
And things have changed a bit. We were talking about this front coming through on Monday. It's now going to come through Sunday night, which means it's moving quickly. So the chances of showers and storms is going to be there maybe as early to the west of us as Sunday afternoon. Mm-hmm. And then Sunday night will be a chance, about a 40% chance in Houston for showers and thunderstorms. Should move pretty quickly, but that means wind is pushing it. So strong winds will probably be the biggest threat.
You were talking the other day, and it made me think of something, and I don't know that I've ever asked you this. You're always talking about, the weather up above the city. It's going to be this over that.
North,
stuff.
you mean?
North
not
of the
up
city.
above.
Not above. Yeah. I'm looking at a map. Like,
north of the city.
North of the city. Does that have to do with because of the Gulf and the push of pressure and stuff that it keeps almost an air wall that keeps things up above us?
A lot of times it has to do with the jet stream, and so that has a lot to do with the Gulf also.
Yeah.
And the jet stream will meander. Very often it comes through Mexico and then through West Texas and then kind of slides to our north. Now, when it's right over us, that's when our biggest threat for tornadoes is going to be there, because imagine. If you push water at the top of your pool, push it with your hand, what happens to the water underneath? It goes right to it and fills it in, right?
Right.
So the same thing with air.
Thank you for answering that for me. I was thinking, what does happen
to it? So if you remove air at the top, which the jet stream does because it's so fast, air below fills it in. So this very fast rising air occurs, which means the faster the air is rising, the more it can be explosive in the upper part of the atmosphere when it releases its energy. Mm-hmm. So when you have the jet stream right over you, that gives you a better chance for severe weather. And a lot of times that jet just misses us to the north, and we'll be right from West Texas across Dallas or just to our north. But when it's right over us, That's when we have our biggest chance for severe weather.
At any point in your career, have you ever heard of or knew of people that were like mapping what you said and then comparing it to what actually happened?
Oh, yeah.
And
I met a guy one time, he said, I write down every day, and this was in the 90s.
Okay.
He said, I write down every day what you say. And you said, you predicted there was going to be our first cold front on September 17th, and it happened. And so I thought, it was just a guess.
Yeah. It was not. That's the thing. There is science behind all of it. It's not just random, like throwing the stones down and seeing which ones turn upright. But, people are now betting on all those kind of things. And we're going to be talking about that in the show today, too.
I'm interested to understand what this is all about, because some people say it's betting, and it's like betting the sports or betting the
prediction
ponies.
Markets.
And others say it's more like the stock market. So when you say, okay, I want 100 shares of Shell, you are kind of betting that Shell is going to do well.
Right.
So you are kind of betting on when you play the stock market. So this new group has become a commodities market where they're like this, like people, and commodities are very big. Potatoes are going to be coming up in March, so I'm going to bet on that.
Yeah.
And they're getting away with being a commodities market and not a betting game.
I'm fascinated.
I know.
But I'm curious if you were aware of how betting was going on a weather report, would that influence, do you think, how it would be reported? If people were like, yeah, they're gonna say this and that's gonna happen, would you see that?
I think it's happening. I think they are betting on the weather.
Right, but does it influence then what maybe weather reporters may say if they're
betting on it?
In it?
Oh, I see. They're the Pete Rose of weather.
Right. See, we'll get into all of that a little bit later on the show. We've just rambled on and on. So let's go into the headlines. Take us away.
Okay, Texas SNAP recipients will no longer be able to use their Lone Star cards to buy candy or sweetened drinks. This starts on April 1st. Texas Health and Human Services Commission says the changes stem from a federal waiver approved last year and legislation signed by Governor Greg Abbott. It's now one of the country's most significant restrictions on what the federal food assistance program can be used to purchase. Governor Abbott praised the move in a statement in a news release. He says Texas is leading the way in aligning SNAP benefits with healthier food options. By implementing these changes, we encourage better nutrition and ensure this program helps families access nutritional food. I thank the Trump administration and the Texas Health and Human Services Commission for their work to strengthen this program and better serve Texans. End quote. Under the new rules, SNAP benefits cannot be used to buy candy, gum, or sweetened drinks. Now, I just want to throw in here, everything but water is sweetened. Almost.
Right.
So I wonder if this is, you're talking about a Coke or a Gatorade. Mm-hmm. So, and if it's not, and you say, oh, it's no sugar, well, it's still sweetened with something, and it's probably not good for you either. So anyway, this includes beverages made with water that contain 5 grams or more of added sugar or any amount of artificial sweetener. So the restrictions also apply to fruit, raisins, nuts that have been candied, crystallized, glazed, or coated with chocolate, yogurt, or caramel. What do you think about this, Ernie? You've been wanting this story all week.
Yes, and it's funny because I really don't have an opinion on it. So actually, I'm hoping that our listeners are going to help educate us on this with their points of view.
713-440-8870. I'll never forget. So I must have been miffed. I was remember the Disco Kroger on Montrose?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so I'm there, and a woman is buying groceries with what was then a WIC card, and honestly, she was buying 5 cartons of pineapple sherbet. And I'll never forget that. I thought, wow, 5 cartons of pineapple sherbet with your WIC card is how you're spending your money,
right,
which is her business. And I didn't, it wasn't my business. But I was kind of taken aback by that.
And this is where I'm torn on it. I understand the idea that if you are getting nutritional assistance, that it's there to help have a healthier diet, to get what you need into your diet, and that the government is helping you. On the other side of it, though, it's restricting. You don't understand cultural differences, what people need. Maybe in the case of the sherbet, and I don't know, I'm going to make this all up. Maybe there's a certain fruit content in the sherbet, and her children would never eat fruit, and by giving them sherbet, she got some fruit in their system.
Sure.
Who knows what's happening in each family?
Or if you don't eat your meal, you're not going to get the pineapple sherbet, right? I mean, it could be Didn't we all go through that as kids?
Yeah.
You don't clean your plate, no dessert.
And so maybe I just think it's an overreach. If you're giving them to alter nutritional value, studies have shown it does none of that. It does not help improve the diet of people if you put those restrictions. if it's to give them the money, the resources to be able to fill their pantry and to use it the way they will, then so be it. You know, I'm very torn on this, and I'm sure there are people out there that have much stronger opinions on both sides of this.
What is the point? I mean, is it really are we suddenly really trying to determine how people's nutrition is going to be evaluated and how we're going to make us? I'm all for making us a healthy society.
Right.
But like you say, I don't think this does it.
Right. I mean, the pros of it are improved public health concerns, align with programs that have more nutritional mission, reduce healthcare costs over time, better use of taxpayer dollars, which I think is what the big push is behind it, potential behavior nudge towards healthier foods. The problem is it doesn't tend to do those things. There's limited evidence that it changes eating habits. Administrative complexities and costs of this program are pretty high. The stigma of being judged at the register. Oh, I'm sorry, you can't have that, but everyone else can. I don't know. I'm very torn about it. Let's go to the phones. It's 713-440-8870. Carmelita is on the line from Missouri City. Carmelita, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you that it should not be 100% they cannot use their SNAP benefits for that. They can put probably some limits on it, because remember, this is to help kids, and if they're already suffering from poverty, they can't afford many things. So they could never enjoy a Coke. They can never enjoy a piece of candy because their parents cannot afford those things. So you can kind of limit it, but to just cut it out altogether, now you have them not ever being able to get those things. So I think we can support healthier habits, but we can also balance it out with those things we do for enjoyment.
Yeah,
I agree with you, Carmelita. And, you know, as Ernie and I have discussed, sugar is, I think, the bane of our existence in so many ways.
Yes. Yeah.
We're addicted to it, and it creates obesity. But the one thing I've learned is that sugar, the one reason that we like it so much is it really empowers our cells. Now, too much of anything is bad for you, but sugar is good for the body. It just has to be done the right way. There's no, otherwise we wouldn't like it so much. Your body craves sugar because sugar, it's not like a drug that the body gets addicted to. It actually is good for your cells, and it gets kind of a bad rap in a lot of ways. So some sweetened of something is a good. I'm surprised, in fact, that the sweet industry hasn't pushed back on this more. I have heard nothing from them.
And the sweet on things that are healthier helps you. It makes it more desirable. And like you're saying, that draw to it. So sweetened strawberries, you're eating a strawberry too, even if the sugar is what gets you there. You know, things like that.
Bananas are full of sugar.
Terrible example, but I hope you know what I mean. Carmelita, thank you for your comments. The other thing to keep in mind too are food deserts. That there are often many places, even in this city alone, where all you have are these fast convenience stores, and you don't have access to all of what they think are the healthy, good foods, and you still have to eat. And so it's important to have access to more complex understanding of what's out there. And critics worse in the food insecurities could increase if you do these limits on there. 713-440-8870. David from the Woodlands is online. David, what do you think?
Hi, thank you for taking my call. My thought is this is a completely positive move. I'm going to have to disagree with you.
Okay.
Sugar is not good for you. Natural sugar, yeah, honey, chocolate, things like that. But refined sugar, dextrose, maltodextrin, all those things, they cause your entire body to swell, your organs, everything. And it's not good for you. It's cheap dopamine. The thing I think that's so far-reaching about this is many of the same people who are on food dependency from the government are also on healthcare assistance. They're on Medicare.
Right.
So this is kind of a defensive move. If you're diabetic, you shouldn't be buying candy to begin with.
Right.
You're just going to exacerbate what's already a bigger problem and cost the state even more money.
And I think that is probably the impetus behind this law to a big degree, is this idea that, you know, if we are aiding you for your nutritional benefit to then use it for things that actually harm your system more, and then we have added costs when it comes to healthcare, I think that's a big motivator for it. The problem is, I think that studies don't show that when you limit that people do change their eating habits. They shift things around. And so maybe some of that money being put toward education might be more helpful. But it's a very good point, David, and thank you for calling and sharing that with us. Our producer put in our chat, Ernie Manous is not a registered dietitian.
And I'm not a registered nutritionist.
So
either.
yeah, we're just giving you our thoughts
well,
on this
if you
topic.
Google benefits from sugar, you'll get quite a list.
Yeah.
So like I say, sugar, you can't just in one sentence say sugar is inflammatory and it's basically a quick drug fix, a dopamine, and it's the worst thing in the world.
Well, and they also talk about in this setup contains more than 5 grams or more of added sugar. I'm wondering if that means adding honey to something.
Well,
is that considered added sugar?
Well, like we said, fruits and strawberries have natural sugars.
Right.
And those are good. But look, the doctor always tests your glucose for a reason. And and sugar is part of your whole makeup. You need some sugar, just like you need some carbs. People who go on these no-carb diets will tell you they start to where they kind of can't think right. Whenever
Ask
you're
Susan Powder about that one.
Yeah.
Once again, 713-440-8870. Chris is on the line from Spring. Chris, what's on your mind?
I just wanted to vent that, like you were saying, that there is good sugar and there's bad sugar. My daughter loves just having apple juice. I'm a SNAP recipient, and I understand there's certain things that we shouldn't get, but how are you going to go to the register, as you were saying, like, am I going to be shamed of, you can't have this apple juice
right
with no sugar, some juices that they can't have. Kids don't like water all the time.
Yeah.
They want a little sweet in their life. So that's just my comment. I'll take it off the air. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Chris, for sharing that with us. I think that's an interesting point, too. It's like, and also, there is the whole cultural aspect of it. And kids are rough on other kids. And if you are not seen as part of the group, not saying it's right, but, you can see if you can't have what everybody else has, you are ostracized, too. And it's adding more to that.
We have Rob from where else than the medical center.
Uh-oh.
Rob, welcome to Hello Houston. What do you do at the medical center? I'm curious.
Actually, I'm here to visit my rheumatologist.
All right.
Oh, okay.
That's good. You have IST at the end of your title, so that's good. So what's your comment or question here on Hello Houston?
My comment is basically if they can make nutritional food affordable, that would sort of mitigate this issue.
That is an excellent point.
That
Thank
sure
you for
is.
that, Rob.
Absolutely.
Continue. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I was very excited about what you said.
No, that's all I have to say.
Yeah, that's the problem. It's much easier. If you've got $10 and you've got to feed a family, that processed, unhealthy, quote unquote, food, you can get a lot more of it. You can get those frozen meals. Try spending that buying, as we work in the perimeter of the grocery store, which is where the fresher foods are. Yeah. It doesn't go nearly as far.
Yeah, a can of chili and a bag of Fritos is lunch.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And if it's got some ground beef in that chili there you go. The can with meat or with just beans, people have to do that. It's rough. Okay, 713-440-8870. Maggie, you're going to be our last one on this one from Acres Homes. Maggie, what is on your mind?
Hi, guys. Thank you so much for having me on. I think that we have like a systemic problem in our society of people actually not having the skills to be able to cook with whole ingredients. So I think that that's like the underlining base of like what you guys just said about being able to have something fast, and especially when you have both parents working or one parent working a 40-plus hour work week at a low income. It's just like, how do we balance that out when we're not also providing nutritional education on how to cook from scratch, beans and things that are like maybe cost effective, but not having the skill base in how to produce those is really something that we've learned with home ec, not being in school systems and things like that.
Absolutely correct, Maggie. It goes back to the education component and our food system. And also another thing that comes to mind listening to all of this is when I was over in Europe and I got a Greek salad, the tomato had such flavor. The cucumber had such flavor. All of those elements. Here, when you buy a tomato and a cucumber, they no longer have that flavor. We're so mass-produced, such marketed thing. And the nutritional value is not as high in these fresh fruits and healthy foods, even here. And so I think we have to look at our whole industry. Just going to our SNAP benefits and saying you can't have this is not correcting the bigger issues we're facing.
Yeah, well, we do a lot in terms of feeding a lot of people and keeping them fed here in this country for relatively inexpensive costs. So.
Yeah. We're going to leave it at that point on this one just because of the time. Thank you for participating in that chat. We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, are you ready to talk Oscars? We've got the man on the line who's going to take us through it. So don't go anywhere. You're listening to Hello Houston.
Meet Tio Choco. We just took his keys for the day and gave him a Ride Metro fare card. This is his story. Visit ridemetro.org/Choco to find out where is Choco.
It's an easy way to maximize your impact on the programs you rely on. Search for your company and get started today at houstonpublicmedia.org/match.
A shooting that shook up Boston.
Boston recorded emergency 510. My wife's been shot. I've been shot.
A massive search for the suspect.
I feel like when they first heard this case, they just knew that you was near the projects. You said a black man did it. That's all we need to know.
Why police bought into a racist hoax on the next Reveal.
Reveal tomorrow at 2 p.m. on News 88.7. Support for Houston Public Media comes from Metro, introducing the Ride Metro Fare Card. The Ride Metro fare system replaces the Metro Q fare card for bus and rail fares. Details at ridemetro.org/fare system.
Support for Houston Public Media comes from listeners like you and from Baylor College of Medicine. Baylor's work centers on advancing health and medicine through research, education, and patient care.
And now back to Hello Houston. To comment on today's topics, call or text 713-440-8870 or email us at talk@hellohouston.org. Now here's Ernie Manous and Frank Billingsley.
Okay, we got carried away talking about the last topic and we went well into this next segment, so I'm jumping right in so we can talk all things Oscars. And we have joining us Dave Morales, whose online bio reads co-owner, BackstageOL.com, entertainment dude on TV and radio everywhere. He's also a dear friend of mine. Dave, hello there.
Hi, Dave.
It's great to see you both. I actually know both of you, and I've known both of you for so long. I thank you so much for having me on tonight. Yeah, the show is called Backstage Well Now. Ernie, this is funny. I need to change that. That's our parent company because now it's the Backstage Experience, the show that runs nationwide. I'm actually in Austin right now. I'm going to be talking with Uma Thurman in 2 hours. Of course, the big South by Southwest Festival has kicked off, and I'm talking with Uma Thurman in 2 hours for her brand new movie called Pretty Lethal. So if you have any questions, give them to me.
You still made time for us. That shows you what good friends we are.
When was the last time she did something? I haven't heard of Uma in a while.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
This movie, she plays a retired ballerina. So the premise is these ballerinas are going to compete in a competition in Hungary. They get stranded by the side of the road. They end up in this house that is run by a retired ballerina who is just evil. That retired ballerina is Uma Thurman. That's the story. That's the movie. It actually is having its premiere here at South by Southwest at the Paramount Theater tonight. Like all the big premieres are happening over the next 2 weeks. And so, yeah, and then she's doing interviews today. And it's violent. It's a violent film. And Ernie, you know, Mama Morales saw this at the end. She was like, wow, that was a lot more violent than I thought it was. So there's the Mama review.
There's their Mama review. Okay, so new things are launching, but really you don't begin the new season until the old season wraps up. And the Oscars is the final salute to what we've seen over the last year. I'll tell you the truth. Is how I sum up last year. Am I off or do you agree?
Well, I'm in the movie business. So, I mean, Are you talking about like the winners? Like you weren't enthused for them, or
I wasn't enthused by the nominees. I got my my movie pass for a particular chain, and I went a whole bunch during the summer, and I kept thinking, I could have stayed home and watched this on streaming. Am I falling in with a lot of folks? Is that the new direction of the cinema? Or do you see a strong resurgence coming with things like the Wicked movie and event movies still have a place in the cinema?
Well, the box office started slow this year, I will admit that, but it's making money, and we've got huge films coming towards the end of the year. New Avengers movie is coming. Doomsday. I mean, there's some big. Devil Wears Prada 2 is coming. I mean, people will be going to the theaters. Theaters still make money. They still do well.
It's
Hoppers.
the expensive popcorn. That's why.
It is. It is. Going back to mom, she sneaks her own snacks in these days. But
I'm not going to say anything, but I've noticed.
Hey, Dave, I'm curious. Do you personally have a particular genre of film that you say, I can't wait till the Devil Wears Prada 2 comes out because I like that kind of a movie, or the more adventure movies? Or you tell me, what do you like best?
Or do you just like
Comedy.
the fact that the pictures move?
Oh, stop it! That we have talkies,
comedy.
Dave.
I love comedy. I can do a good drama every now and then. If it's a deeply depressing drama, I'm like, look, we can see that around. We're looking around. But comedy, I love. I love a good animation. I just mentioned Hoppers, it's from Disney Pixar. People are calling it one of the best, and I know they've done Toy Story. I've been beat up about this before, but I like a good comedy when it's well done. I can't wait for Devil Wears Prada 2. They're all coming back from the original.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun, but that's what I like.
And they all look the
Horror.
same. They all look the same.
They all look the same. Horror is the only genre where I'm a chicken when it comes to scary movies. Mom loves them. I am a chicken, but that's my job. I have to see all of these films. But when I do a scary movie, for me, it's like that anticipation you get before you get on a roller coaster. And then when you finally get done with the roller coaster, you're like, oh, I did it. I'm the strongest guy on the planet.
Yeah.
Horror.
I don't like gratuitous violence.
All right, enough of this chit chat.
So
enough of this chit chat.
I'm with you on that.
We got to get into it. Sunday night, 2026 Oscars. Looking at Best Picture, really, from where I sit, it's among three pictures, and that's all that really matter. One battle after another, Sinners and Hamnet. All the rest could just stay home. Am I off?
You're right on. And it's a very close Oscars race. In fact, those are my top three. But the order that for the last year, the order that I had them, though, Sinners is my number one. Hamnet
The
was
horror
number
film
two.
after what you just said?
I know, but I really like the theme of Sinners, and I love the music and the acting. I love the directing. I know, yeah, I did say I'm a chicken, but if it's well done. No, Sinners to me was so deep, and I love Ryan Coogler directing. Michael B. Jordan, we'll get to his category in a second. But yeah, those were in my top three for the year. Sinners was just great. Hamnet, I absolutely loved.
See, Hamnet didn't do it for me, and everybody else I know loved it, and everybody's talking about crying, and I'm like, is this over yet? Isn't that horrible? I did like One Battle After Another. That would be my pick if I were voting in the Oscars, which I am not. But, so which one's going to take it home on Sunday night?
One Battle is going to win.
Over Sinners, really?
Yeah. It's had the momentum since release. It's Paul Thomas Anderson,
Right.
who is an Oscar darling. The Academy loves him. PTA is a great director. It's probably going to win. I mean, Sinners is going to win awards, and I'm sure we're going to get into those in a minute. Both of those films are going to have big nights, but Battle is going to take home the Oscar for Best Picture. I'm
Ooh,
happy with
okay,
that.
I'm going to hold you to this one.
Let's go to actor in a leading role. Are you all for Michael Jordan from Sinners?
Michael B. Jordan is going to win that. I love
Not
Timothy Chalamet.
Chalamet.
No Leo DiCaprio or Timothy Chalamet, Ethan Hawke.
Leo was great. He's always good. He always gives a solid performance. They're all great interviews. We've spent time with Tim and Leo and Michael, but I just think the performance, the fact that Michael B. Jordan plays two characters in this film, gives him a lead. Timothy didn't help himself with the whole ballet thing.
For people who didn't follow
but
that,
I think by then people had
Dave,
pretty
hold
much-
on a second. For people who didn't
Go ahead.
follow that storyline, explain what Timothy Chalamet did. That just his Oscar chances went.
Well, he came out and he said, and it's really funny because the Uma Thurman movie that I am about to talk with her about is about ballerinas, as I told you a second ago. What my opening question is going to be, well, maybe Timothy Chalamet needs to see this movie because there's nothing boring about ballet in this film. Timothy basically came out and said ballet and opera are boring, limited audiences. Look, I've met the guy, and it was just a silly comment. I doubt he means it. I know he regrets saying it.
Oh yeah,
he's not a bad guy, but I think it's artistic, and I think there's some folks that are going to go, okay.
There's a
when
lot
you're
of
that close.
There's a lot of old voters in the Academy, and they are supporting the opera and the ballet. And to hear Timothy Chalamet say basically those are dead art forms, they're not going to vote for him. And in a race that's close, just like in politics, you need every vote you can get. And while they were voting, to have that scandal come out just is not good timing for him. But we could be proven wrong, but did he have a chance?
Did you notice Michael B. Jordan just won the actor award at the SAG-AFTRA Awards recently, like a week and a half ago. A lot of Academy voters are also part of that guild.
Yep.
And the fact that he took that, because I vote for the Critics' Choice Awards Guild. I voted for Michael B. Jordan. Tim won at our award show. But I think the momentum has shifted over to Michael B. Jordan. And I think I want him to win, obviously, but I feel like he's going to pull off the Best Actor.
Yeah, I vote in the SAG Awards, so we got two different voting members here, and I voted for Leonardo DiCaprio, and so I didn't win my vote either. But did Timothy, one more thing on Timothy, and we'll move on. Did Timothy Chalamet have a chance at winning Best Actor, do you think, going into it? Or this is just kind of like, we're talking about it, but it was going to be Michael B. Jordan's to win?
That's a great question. I think he had a chance. I'll be honest with you, Marty Supreme, it's a good film. It's not a great film. For me, Sinners was a great film. And I just feel like Timothy had early momentum.
Yeah.
And then the tank just kind of fizzled and it shifted, which it happens, just like politics, like you said.
Let's turn to actress real quick in a leading role. You like Jessie Buckley for Hamlet?
Oh, that's a lock. There's a few locks for sure that are going to win. She's won at every award show leading up to this. Strong campaign, great performance. I really like her. She's going to win Best Actress.
And it's funny because you mentioned the SAG Awards and you talk about a lot of those voting members. If I'm not mistaken, the largest body of voters at the Academy Awards are actors. And so if you see them winning an actor category over at the Actor Awards, more than likely they're going to carry it here too. So
that's Michael B. Jordan's success story.
Yep.
Yeah.
Who do you like for supporting roles for actor and actress?
I like Sean Penn. I was bummed because he didn't win at our show, and I voted for him for one battle after another. The Academy likes him. He's won before. I think Sean is going to take that award. Now, for Best Supporting Actress, it's and I'm drawing a blank, and I just had her name. It's the girl from Weapons. She's
Amy Madigan. Amy Madigan is sweeping it. Yeah.
She's going to win. She's going to win. Have you seen that movie? That's another scary one. How did I like that? It's so good.
I think maybe you're changing your taste in films. You didn't know that.
No, I'm a chicken. Gurney, I am such a chicken when it comes to that. But that performance, as a matter of fact, that role did so well for her that her character is the spinoff for Weapons. That it's a prequel of, and if you haven't seen it, hopefully I don't ruin it when I say this, but it's the backstory of Aunt Gladys, her character, who's
Don't say anything more. I haven't seen it. I want to go back up though to Best Supporting Actor, and Frankenstein did not do at all what people thought it was going to do. They thought that thing was going to be huge, and it came out and kind of wasn't.
It was horrible.
But Jacob Elordi, he's been shown a lot of love. Should he just be happy he got the nomination and move on and not expect anything on Sunday night?
He should pick out a nice outfit because he'll walk the carpet. I don't think he'll be on the stage. Thank you for laughing at that. I don't think he's going to make it to the stage. That movie, I agree with you on that one.
I think Jacob's done a lot for the industry in a very short period of time, and I think they're rewarding him for that by giving him the nomination.
His stock is on the rise. I mean, he's done a lot. He will continue to do stuff. He's a fantastic actor. We've interviewed him before. He's a great guy. When you weigh it against everything else that's going on in that category, it fizzled.
I do want to ask about in the new category for casting director. What do you think about that? We don't have a lot of time left. What do you think about that category, and who do you think is going to win it?
I hope Sinners does, but One Battle is going to have a massive night. I think that new category probably will go to One Battle, but don't be surprised if Sinners pulls in. That is a new category, so I think it's going to be between those two.
Yeah.
Okay, so really quickly before I let you go, what's going to be the biggest surprise of Sunday night, do you think? Where are we all going to be like, oh?
Yeah, who gets snubbed and who gets rewarded?
Yeah.
I think if Michael B. Jordan beats Timothée Chalamet, that's going to be a surprise.
No, if Timothée Chalamet beats Michael Jordan, it would be a surprise.
Yeah, well, that's true too. But I think a lot of people are expecting Chalamet. You know, it depends when they got their votes in, really, before this controversy hit. I think that to me would be a surprise. I think if a third film pulls votes away from Best Picture, that would be a surprise. You know, the way this season has gone, it's been pretty predictable. Again, maybe not so much the actor category, because Michael B. Jordan, he has become a favorite lately. But I think like Golden is going to win Best Song for K-Pop Demon Hunters. I think if Zootopia 2, which I liked a lot better than K-Pop Demon Hunters, if that wins Best Animated, that would be an upset. But I think it's pretty much things have fallen into line from what like we talked about today, as far as what the expectations are for Sunday night.
Well, don't let us keep you from getting ready to talk to Uma Thurman, as I've never said that to anyone else before. But thank you for chatting with us right now. Dave Morales from the Backstage Experience. You can find him everywhere. Also, the Academy Awards is this Sunday night on ABC or streaming on Hulu beginning at 6 p.m. Keep that in mind. We're going to take a quick break. When we continue, more of Hello Houston coming up.
Meet Damola, songwriter, world-class violinist, and award-winning multi-genre artist. We just took his keys for the day and gave him a Ride Metro fare card. Visit ridemetro.org/Damola to learn more about his ride.
Your support for trusted news and programs could have double the impact for our community. Find out if your company participates at houstonpublicmedia.org/match.
Tonight on Houston Public Media TV 8, Il Volo perform a mix of beloved classics, operatic arias, and popular songs. Join the acclaimed Italian trio for a stunning concert in a breathtaking Sicilian setting. Tonight at 8 on TV 8.
A federal court tells the U.S. Forest Service no more using wildfire risk to excuse clear-cutting without environmental review.
No one is disputing that it's a wildfire emergency. But that is more a reason to approach these problems urgently, not attack them blindly.
I'm Steve Kerwin, and that's next time on Living on Earth from PRX.
Living on Earth tomorrow night at 10 p.m. on News 88.7.
Support comes from Hildebrand MBA at UT Austin's Macomb School of Business, offering the Weekend MBA at Houston. Networking event March 19th at new campus location, City Center. Details at texasmbaevents.com. Make it here.
And now back to Hello Houston. To comment on today's topics, call or text 713-440-8870 or email us at talk@hellohouston.org. Now here's Ernie Manous and Frank Billingsley.
Space City Sound is an award-winning nonprofit a cappella ensemble based right here in Space City. They perform throughout the year in contests, collaborations with other art organizations, and of course in concert. They are an all-volunteer chorus with members from all backgrounds and all walks of life. And on March 14th, Space City Sound will present Apollo 11, a harmonic mission celebrating the spirit of exploration, Houston's lunar legacy, and the power of the human voice. Joining us now to tell us about Space City Sound is Don Finetti and chorus director Patrick McAlexander. Welcome to Hello Houston, guys.
Thank you.
You
so
brought
much
a
for having us.
microphone and some backup chorus we're going to hear in a moment. So tell us, how did Space City Sound get started? How long have you been around?
Yeah, so Space City Sound started 11 years ago in 2015, mostly from members who were already singing barbershop in another local chorus here. And they decided they wanted to put something together and really focus on musical excellence and building community of mostly kind of younger singers in their 20s and 30s. And since then, it's evolved into a group that's all ages and all walks of life. And it's become a mixed chorus after starting as a men's chorus. And
so you meet on Wednesdays and Sundays? How does that work?
Yeah, we meet every Thursday for 3 hours over in the Memorial City area. And
Nice.
we rehearse every week and prepare for
How
all the
many?
different stuff
How
we
many
got.
of you?
We're going to have around 40 on stage for our show tomorrow that we have coming up.
You make reference to barbershop.
Yes.
And so everyone's always thinking, striped vests, and they're going to sing a cappella, and there's going to be 4 of you. And boy, oh boy, over the last few years, the idea and the concept of a cappella has definitely grown and changed from a very successful groups doing it, television competitions of it. It's become something bigger than what I think people's narrow minds of it used to be. Dom, tell me a little bit about your thoughts on that.
Yeah, no, you're totally right. It's very cool as someone like Patrick and I, who have done this for a long time. I've done it since I've done this kind of music since I was in high school. Like I was 15 when I first started doing it, and then he's been doing it since he was in the womb, pretty much.
That's true.
Bothersome to your mother,
his parents both do it as well, so it's a family affair. And so it's cool, thinking back to when it was like a cappella was far less mainstream, and it felt like this very niche, unheard of sport that we were involved in, and to see it grow and show up in places like Jimmy Fallon and stuff, and get viral.
You
was
say
really
sport.
Cool.
Talk about that.
Sure. So I believe Patrick mentioned briefly that we do compete as well. We've gone to the International Barbershop Chorus Contest many times over the last 11 years. And most recently, in 2024, we actually got 10th in the world. Which is pretty cool. Yeah, and it was out of probably 50-ish, 40-ish choruses.
There were around, I think, 35 choruses there, but around 200 tried to qualify to get to the
Like
international.
Eurovision, Ernie.
Yeah.
It's like Eurovision.
It is. It's similar
Do you know
to
what Eurovision
Yes.
is? Oh my God, you got to come to my party. I'll send you
Okay, good to know.
Anyway, there's so few of them out there.
I do want to explore the fact that you have men and women in your this barbershop quartets. You think of 4 guys, right?
Yeah.
And a cappella groups are generally either male or female because of the blend of voices. How many? I mean, is this more common now that you're mixing men and women?
Yeah. So for a long time, our parent organization, the Barbershop Harmony Society, was an all-male organization. That changed only in the last decade, in 2018. And after that change was made, Space City Sound was one of the first choruses to say, hey, that sounds like fun. We can invite more people into this experience. Let's try that and see what happens.
And how did it go?
Overall, it's been awesome. I think our culture is richer for being accessible to more people.
Sure.
And I think also it's allowed us to explore different possibilities of what the combination of voices we have can do, because mixed barbershop specifically is mostly a newer thing. And so we're one of the groups out there that's kind of like finding answers to questions as we go. We're not really able to rely on the decades and decades of experience of just single gender groups.
I think it's also worth mentioning also that going all voices, we were so much smaller. We on our best day back then, it was probably around 24, 25 people on average, and so we've doubled in size since then, and we only got to that 10th place score until after we became all voices. So I mean, I think there's an argument to be made that we've only gotten better. It's only improved our experience.
And is it an unlimited number of people you can have as long as you have the volunteers to come out on Thursdays?
We're open to continuing to grow as a chorus. We're not limited to that 40 size. We're happy to keep growing, and we'd love to share this type of music with anyone who wants to be part of it and join us in our mission.
Okay, blah, 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 blah. A lot of talking there. Patrick, I want you to go back and join the other folks here. And Dom, I want you. Hold on, Dom. Don't go anywhere. Okay. While they're getting set up, I want you to tell me who all's here and joining you.
Yes, okay. You got it. So this is a quartet made up of members of our chapter, Space City Sound, and we've got on our right here, Jeremy singing baritone.
You can watch this on YouTube, folks.
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, on YouTube you'll see what I'm talking about. Next to him is Patrick, our director, singing bass. And then to his right, we've got Dan singing lead, which is like the melody part of the song that you might recognize the most. And then to his right, we've got Alicia singing tenor, the highest part.
And the lady in the group here. Very nice.
And what are they going to share with us?
They're going to be singing a classic jazz standard that many of you probably have heard before. It's Come Fly With Me, made famous by Frank Sinatra.
All right, take it away.
I want to. Come fly with me, let's fly away, up and away. If you can use some exotic booze, there's a bar in far Bombay. Come fly with me, let's fly away, let's get away. Come fly with me, let's float down to Peru. In Llama Land, there's a one-man band, and he'll toot his flute for you. Come fly with me, let's take off in the blue. Off in the blue, once I get you up there, where the air is rarefied. We'll just glide, starry-eyed, once I get you up there. I'll be holding you so near. You may hear angels cheer, 'cause we're together weather-wise. It's such a lovely day. Just say the word and we'll beat those birds down to Acapulco Bay. It's perfect for a flying honeymoon, they say. Come fly with me, come on, let's fly. Come on, babe, let's touch the sky. Come on, baby, let's fly.
Wow, play the applause
Very
track.
nice. Tom, get back over by the mic and tell me.
I'm here.
So now we've got a sample of this. Imagine it 10 times more, because 40 voices. What are they going to see when they come out on March 14th?
Yeah, so it's going to be a very diverse show. This is only a taste of it. You will get a chance to see that song live, but on a much grander scale with many other people singing it. But you'll also get a chance to see a number of other songs by us. I want to say we're doing another 6 songs.
Yeah, we're doing 7 songs as a chorus, and then we have several quartets featuring different members of the chorus. And then we also have a couple of guest groups. We have the Classics from the Moore School of Music at U of H, a barbershop group that is self-directed at the University of Houston. They'll be singing. And then we also have a belly dance troupe that's going to be joining. They'll be doing some of their own performance.
I wasn't expecting.
They'll actually be dancing to one of the songs that the chorus sings. Alicia, who you just heard, is part of this belly dance troupe. And so she decided to bring her friends to be part of this. And it's going to be a very memorable and unique and one-of-a-kind experience. I don't know if that kind of collaboration has ever happened before.
Is there a place people can go, a website?
Yeah, for more information, please go to spacecitysound.org. You can find information about us, about the show, and anything else that you want to know.
Someone did ask about the audition process.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I can talk about that. So the first thing that I'll mention is that we are always holding auditions. So it's not just a seasonal thing where you come this one part of year. All of our rehearsals are open on Thursday nights. So come visit a rehearsal. You're welcome to sing along with us. And then if you decide you like it and keep coming, we have a 3-part audition process that involves us getting to know you and your voice, and then you learning a song to sing in a quartet. And I know that can sound very intimidating for new people, but we do our best to try to put everyone in a position to succeed so that they can join our chorus and be part of it and just hook up with the next thing going on.
Lots of YouTube comments. Bravo, awesome, sumptuous.
Sumptuous. I like that.
I know. People love what they're hearing. That is for sure. So congratulations and best of luck.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Dom, Patrick, thank you for joining us. Voices in the back, thank you for joining us too. Once again, Space City Sound will present Apollo 11, a harmonic mission, Saturday, March 14th at 2 p.m. at the University of Houston Student Center Theater. For more information, you can visit spacecitysound.org. Coming up the next hour of Hello Houston and the talk about the rise in prediction markets as we continue with the show and some more headlines too. Stay with us as Hello Houston continues. Thank you guys again. Thank you so much.
Stay tuned. There's more Hello Houston on the way with Ernie Manous, Celestia Sherman, and Frank Billingsley. For the latest in local news, subscribe to the Hello Houston daily newsletter at houstonpublicmedia.org. Hello Houston is a production of Houston Public Media. The opinions expressed by the guests of this program are solely their own. and do not represent the views of management, staff, or underwriters of Houston Public Media. This is News 88.7.
Support for Houston Public Media comes from Metro. Introducing the Ride Metro Fare Card. The Ride Metro fare system replaces the Metro Q Fare Card for bus and rail fares. Details at ridemetro.org/fare system.
We are in for a beautiful weekend weather-wise. The high today is 75 with sunny skies. Tonight's low around 56 with mostly clear skies. On Saturday, the high of around 78, more of that good sunshine. Sunday, decreasing clouds, the high of around 83. It is 65 degrees right now. This is your NPR station, KUHF Houston, News 88.7. It's a service of the University of Houston. It's 12 o'clock.
Just ahead on this hour of Hello Houston, Buc-ee's has received an F rating from the Better Business Bureau for its alleged failure to respond to customer service complaints. We'll discuss this and more on the top headlines of the day. I'm Frank Billingsley.
And I'm Ernie Manous. We'll also talk about the rise of prediction markets with David Gouker, publisher of the Event Horizon newsletter.
Plus, we'll also share a rundown of events happening this weekend in Houston for our regular Friday feature, Last Minute Plans.
And we want to know what you're doing, so give us a call or text us 713-440-8870 or email us at talk@hellohouston.org. Remember, you can also watch us live on YouTube by going to houstonpublicmedia.org.
Hello Houston is made possible in part by founding sponsors John Bradshaw and Kathy Sanders, by Metro, and by gifts from listeners like you.
Live from NPR News, I'm Lakshmi Singh. President Trump's taken to social media to express joy at killing Iranian leaders and seemed to say the conflict in Iran could go on significantly longer. NPR's Danielle Kurtzleben reports Trump also previewed what is set to be a day of heavy strikes.
Trump said the U.S. has, quote, unlimited ammunition and plenty of time. Watch what happens to these deranged scumbags today, unquote. This morning, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and Chairman of the Joint Chiefs, General Dan Kane, said today will be the heaviest day of strikes on Iran. President Trump added, quote, they've been killing innocent people all over the world for 47 years, and now I, as the 47th President of the United States of America, am killing them. What a great honor it is to do so, unquote. This week, a preliminary assessment found that the U.S. was likely at fault for a missile strike on an Iranian girls' school. Danielle Kurtzleben, NPR News.
In addition, 6 American troops were killed this week when a refueling aircraft crashed. The FBI is investigating yesterday's synagogue attack outside Detroit, Michigan, as a targeted act of violence against the Jewish community. It was carried out by a naturalized citizen from Lebanon, where a local mayor told an NPR producer that the suspect was related to several people killed in an Israeli strike last week. The Michigan attack occurred within hours of a deadly shooting on the Virginia campus of Old Dominion University. Juliette Kayyem is the faculty chair of the Homeland Security Project at Harvard's Kennedy School of Government and spoke to NPR about the 2 attacks.
The evidence right now shows that they are likely unconnected, and the FBI has not said that they're treating them as similar, obviously, to terror-related events. We'll be careful about motivation at this stage. Occurred on the same day, and so they will look at any connection. But the modes of attack are different. The histories of the attackers are different.
Julia Kayyem on NPR's Morning Edition. Austin, Texas has announced new policies for how local police interact with federal immigration agents. Mose Buchel of member station KUT reports the guidelines highlight the difficulties blue cities and red states are having in responding to the illegal immigration crackdown.
Austin political leaders don't want city police doing immigration enforcement, but Texas law stops them from telling officers they can't report people to ICE. So the new rules here prohibit city police officers from holding someone solely on suspicion of immigration violations and tell them they must alert their higher-ups if they plan to report someone. Kristen Etter is with the Texas Texas Immigration Law Council. She says in Texas,
it's safe to assume that anytime law enforcement is involved, there is a risk of immigration detention.
Texas is one of many states with laws encouraging or even mandating cooperation between local and state law enforcement and federal immigration agents. For NPR News, I'm Mose Buchel in Austin.
It's NPR.
Live from News 88.7 in Houston, I'm Alexandra Hart. A fire at a Baytown area chemical plant has been extinguished. News 88.7's Tom Perumian says the cause of the blaze is under investigation.
It began as a flaring operation to burn off combustible materials. Then an operational upset during the burning of chemicals happened, and a roaring fire of bright orange flames lit up the night sky that was visible from Galveston and Houston. The fire at Lyondell-Bassel's Bayport Choate site in Pasadena brought out full contingents of firefighters. Water was sprayed on the burning plumes of orange. By Friday morning, the conflagration was out and the scene cooling enough to allow investigators in to find out what happened. No one was killed or injured. No dangerous chemical pollution was detected in the air. I'm Tom Perumian, News 88.7.
NASA is moving forward with launching the moon-bound Artemis 2 mission on April 1st. News 88.7's Michael Atkinson reports.
Artemis leaders spent the last 2 days in a flight readiness review, a discussion of preparedness that leads to a go or no-go vote. Mission leaders said the vote, which focused on crew safety and included the crew, was unanimously in favor. But during a press conference on Thursday, much of the discussion focused on the so-called acceptable risk, the likelihood of NASA launching the mission even if there's a risk something goes wrong. Here's Mission Management Chair John Honeycutt.
We're probably not one in 50 on the mission going exactly like we want to, but we're probably not 1 in 2 like we were on the first flight.
NASA says it doesn't plan to hold another dress rehearsal, a vote of confidence in the rocket's infrastructure. They're planning to roll Artemis 2 back to the launch pad next week. I'm Michael Atkinson, News 88.7.
Fort Bend County Judge K.P. George argued during opening statements of his criminal trial yesterday that the felony money laundering charges being brought against him are politically motivated. George was arrested for allegedly misusing more than $46,000 in campaign funds. If convicted, he would be removed from office. I'm Alexandra Hart, News 88.7.
Support for NPR comes from NPR stations. Other contributors include Fisher Investments. Fisher's dedicated team of specialists provide resources on investing, retirement income, estate planning, and more. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com. Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Live from Houston Public Media and News 88.7, it's Hello Houston, an open forum on today's biggest stories affecting Houston and beyond. Call now, 713-440-8870, or let us know your thoughts on today's topics by emailing us at talk@hellohouston.org. And now here's your host for Hello Houston, Ernie Manous, Celestia Sherman, and Frank Billingsley.
Well, that was a lively first hour on Hello Houston.
I feel like we should sing the whole second show after that a cappella group that was just
I wish I could. I wish I could. We would run off more viewers.
I used to be able to sing. I was in choir and all that. And then probably 25 years ago, I had throat surgery. And
on what?
Vocal nodules. And,
yeah, like Julie Andrews.
Like Julie Andrews. And I, too, can no longer
sing. She ruined her voice, absolutely.
Yeah, but she was able to sing better before, and even probably now than I could in my heyday. So, I always am envious when people can just take to the mic and enjoy it.
And that group made it sound Space City. Help me with the name.
Space City Sound.
Space City Sound. They were so effortless.
Yeah.
They just did it.
Yeah, they have a show coming up at U of H, and you can check them out at spacecitysound.org to learn more about what they're up to and what they're doing. Yeah. And if you've got the hankering to sing, they have open auditions all the time, they were saying. So reach out and check.
Well, and they're growing all the time, and they're a mixed group of men and women, which is so rare. I appreciate that because that does that. I mean, as he said, they expanded from 25 and double.
Now they're up to 40. Yeah. And then they'll all be out there in full force with a belly dancer. I thought that was interesting too. Anyway, we also talked about the Oscars. Later on, we're going to have our last minute plans segment of the show. If you've got some last minute plans or you want to alert people to things that are going on in the area that you want us to share with them, start sending them in to us right now at talk@hellohouston.org. And a little later in the show, we'll run through that list of what's happening around town and what we're going to be doing, what you're going to be doing. Call in, join us, 713-440-8870. We did talk about the Oscars, and Dave Morales was here, and he's always got a lot to say.
He's great.
Yeah.
And he's one of the one person I know that's seen every film.
Yeah.
I mean, you get the impression, even the short films and the animated films, and he really knows his stuff and really watches it all and analyzes it all.
We had a comment from someone who said that they go to the MFA, Museum of Fine Arts, every year, and they go and see these shorts because they do an Academy Award-nominated shorts festival.
Yeah.
So you can see those because so often we sit there and say, who's seen these? How do we know what's going to win? Well, they have. We'll talk more Oscars when we get to last-minute plans, too, because that'll be part of my last-minute plans of the Oscars.
Yeah, got a lot of sugar comments, and they weren't sugar-coated, let me tell you.
So we were talking about how SNAP benefits and assistance programs in the state of Texas will no longer allow you to use those cards for sugary or what they term as unhealthy foods. Right. And we were talking about sugar in food. So, Frank, what did people say about our thoughts?
Well, they say that, this text is a little, I don't think they heard the whole discussion or maybe we didn't make ourselves clear, or I didn't. So disappointed in how the discussion equated all sugars when the reality is that different types of sugar impact the body in dramatically different ways, right? Fructose and glucose, and there are all kinds of sugars. I don't think we said sugar's all the same, but anyway, saying that the body needs sugar is probably correct, but that statement is in a discussion about providing Coke to kids is astonishing. What did we say about providing Cokes to kids? I don't. I don't get it. But I think our point is that like anything in moderation can be good for you.
Yeah, to recap the story a little bit, the Texas SNAP recipients will no longer be able to use their Lone Star cards to buy candy or sweetened drinks beginning April 1st. And that's Texas Health and Human Services Commission says that the changes came about with federal waiver approval last year and legislation signed by Governor Abbott. It's one of the country's most significant restrictions on what the federal food assistance program can be used to purchase. So that got us talking and got us into the sugars, and it has to do with the amount of percentage of any drinks that contain more than 5 grams or more of added sugar would not be allowed, and artificial sweeteners and all of that. But we talked about food deserts and where there's not the opportunity and the difference in price disparity between what are healthy and unhealthy foods and what the purpose of the program is. Is it to feed you or is it to nutritionally get you stable? What are they using it for? Can it be all of these things? That's what we were chatting. What do you think? Share with us, 713-440-8870.
We had one comment, Americans consume sugar at a lethally toxic level. Mm-hmm. That's where the bad rap comes from, if you didn't know. You could certainly argue that. I think I'm a sort of a normal person. I like ice cream now and then. I grab a donut when they're free. M&Ms now and then. I mean, I take in that kind of sugar. Yeah. I'm not a no sugar guy. My last glucose reading, which was in the last month, was I think 92. Anything over 100.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so
I saw you look at the blank look on my face. I know 92 is a number, but is that good or bad?
I'm not pre-diabetic unless we all are pre-diabetic, which some people argue we all are pre-diabetic. But I have a normal glucose range without going too crazy with carbohydrates and sugars, but it doesn't mean you can't enjoy life. I just think it's probably true, though, that some people are addicted to sugar in a way that it is unhealthy for them.
Chef Rob writes on YouTube over in our YouTube group. They're the folks that follow us every day. And if you're not a member, please go over there and join the conversation. Chef Rob writes that if taxpayers foot the bill, the money should go to better eating habits. Junk food is a luxury.
It's the definition of junk food, too.
Well, that's true, too. And
you could take a steak, and you wouldn't call that junk food. But if it's a really well-marbled, which means full of fat ribeye, I think some people would say that is not something you should be eating every day. It's there are foods that just are better for you and worse for you, and they fall in every category.
Jen in Clear Lake says, this new law seems like bureaucracy that will cost more than it will help anyone, which I think is one of the arguments that people are having about it. What's the real purpose behind it? What is it doing? I think some people see it as punishing people who can't afford other things. And
I don't really get the point of it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the other argument, we've talked about that too, is that it will encourage healthier eating habits because you can afford the healthier. You can purchase the healthier foods and not the unhealthy foods, as they are terming them. And that makes for a better, healthier populace. And then that means less health care costs later on because they're eating healthier. They think of it as a chain reaction.
Steve Jobs was a fruitarian. He was. He only ate fruit.
Yeah.
He died of cancer.
Yep.
So, I don't know. You got to do what's right for you. And I'm not sure we should be telling people how to spend their
either you qualify for it. I go back and forth on this. I'm one of those in-betweeners. I understand the logic of if it's taxpayer money, make sure what they're buying is substantial. The other problem is that substantial food often costs more. It's harder to come by, especially with food deserts. So what are you actually doing? The problem is you don't want anyone to go to bed hungry each night. Yes, you want them to make better choices, but maybe that's more about education than limiting what they can purchase. Chef Rob jumps back in and says, Twinkies have no nutritional value. Neither do Doritos, Monster drinks, Cheetos, candy, and soft drink.
Okay.
So,
well,
yeah.
Well, no one said anything about beef jerky, but one of the places you can get it.
We're going into the headlines. Before we go there, really quickly, the weather. What is it right now? What's it going to be this
It's
week?
beautiful. Hot temperatures are in the 60s. Dew point temperatures are in the 40s, which means it's crisp and clear and gorgeous outside. And I just heard a friend of mine down in Galveston today, which we're going down to Galveston today too, said it's absolutely beautiful on the island. I predicted the water to be blue this weekend.
And is it yet?
I don't know. I'm not there, but I'm going to let you know on Monday.
Let us know. We'll definitally ask. Okay.
All right,
now
Buc-ees.
into the headlines talking about junk food.
We all love Buc-ees, right? They got an F rating from the Better Business Bureau.
Wow.
An F.
Buc-ees?
Yes. Failure to respond to customer service complaints. Accordingly, Buc-ees has a history of complaints dating back to March 2019. The website says the BBB's website, I should say, says the company has failed to respond to 88 complaints filed against it through the Bureau. Quote, consumers allege they are unable to contact the company as there are no phone numbers on the website, and when they send an inquiry through the website, it goes unanswered. Complaints and customer reviews also state poor/rude customer service. All right, as of Wednesday, Buc-ee's had a 1-star rating on the BBB's website based on 43 customer reviews. Despite the BBB's rating, Buc-ee's has, of course, a reputation for the cleanest restrooms in America, the best coffee bar in any quick stop shop that I've ever seen, supersized travel centers, all the gasoline you could ever find to pump. I mean, there's a lot to be said for Buc-ee's, but this is not particularly good. The 2025 American Customer Satisfaction Index ranked the company 6th overall for U.S. convenience stores, with a 79% satisfaction rating, which is a C+. Convenience stores that ranked higher included Love's, Wawa, Sheetz, and Quick Trip. So, I don't know. What are your Buc-ee's thoughts out there? 713-440-8870.
I had the opportunity to jump on to Houston Matters this morning for their Good, Bad, and Ugly segment. This was one of the topics we talked about on that. So,
what'd y'all think?
Well, if you listen today, you already know my answers, but here we go. Okay. Have you ever, I'm going to have some fun here. Frank, have you ever been to a Buc-ee's?
Yes.
Have you ever waited in a long line to get into a Buc-ee's?
No.
Not with your car, getting off the ramp in?
No.
Ever gotten to the bathroom?
Even on the way to Austin. Even on the way to Austin, it's pretty quick.
Well, then I don't want to talk to you.
But it's a long line. It can be a long line, but it's pretty quick. And the bathroom, no. Women maybe, but poor women, they have to wait all the time.
You're ruining my point. My point is those places are always packed.
Buc-ee's, you mean?
Buc-ee's.
Oh, no. True. No, to your point, Buc-ee's is always packed.
How many people would you say can fit into a regular Buc-ee's store?
200.
200. And that's in a moment. And it's constantly changing. They're talking about since 2019, 88 complaints went unanswered. Think about the sheer volume of people that go into Buc-ee's over that number of locations. I, on the other hand, think that's an amazingly good response
Like
rate.
sands through the hourglass, that's just 1 grain.
Yeah. And so, okay. Now, on the BBB website, the Better Business Bureau, they had 43 customer reviews. 43. If this were a survey, I would say that the questionnaire was off. They didn't have a big enough sample size to make a judgment. So, that being said, nobody should go unheard of. Nobody should go ignored. But that is pretty low numbers.
Gerald Thurman says the BBB is losing street cred with this rating.
Yeah.
And Chef Rob says exactly. I kind of agree with them.
Yeah, less than 1% failure rate.
I mean, does
That's
anybody
pretty good.
ever rate the BBB?
Ah.
Because I've
Buc-ee's
dealt
will
with
now.
the BBB. We own a business, and I've dealt with them.
Yeah.
And of course, you pay for
Right. See,
for
it's a
this rating.
misnomer too. There is a
and they
cost
don't
in
really
it.
have any teeth. Channel 2 has done so many stories with the BBB, and they say, well, we can just advise you. They don't ever go after anyone. They just give ratings.
Right, but it gives it's out in the public square now. We're talking about it. We give them power by saying the Better Business Bureau did
Good
this
point.
and that. So
We have a call.
713-440-8870. George from West Houston. George, talk to me about Buc-ees.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I travel all over the country. I've stopped at darn near every roadside stop here in Texas, and Buc-ees is great. It fits its section, and I agree that there's probably not a big enough control there to draw a conclusion. However, we have one of the best roadside stops in all of America, and there's 2 of them outside of our area, one in Sealy and one in El Campo, and that's Prosex. It is way better in every single aspect than Buc-ees will ever be.
Do you think that they sort of took the Buc-ees corporate plan and made it their own and improved it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I believe that. Now, they don't have near as many stores. They only have the 2, but they're run very well, and their products are way more high quality than anything Buc-ees serves.
Well, George, thank you for your thoughts and your comments on that. I also want to point out that another concern that they had was that there was no phone number published. There I will get behind people's complaints.
Well, who's going to answer the phone?
Well, and this is the other thing. Buc-ee said, well, when our cashiers would answer phones, it angered customers, so we took them away. When I'm calling in a complaint, I don't expect it to go to the cashier. I want it to go to some corporate office somewhere where they're keeping track of it. So I am frustrated. When I look for a phone number and I can't find it for an organization, I get upset.
Well,
so
they have an amazing beef jerky selection, which, by the way, beef jerky contains sugar, so you can't buy it with your SNAP card.
713-440-8870. Robert from downtown. Robert, what are your thoughts?
Well, I was used to be in the gasoline business, and at one time I had a brand new car. This is like 1980, but it's a brand new car, and all of a sudden it didn't run right. So I took it to the dealer, and the dealer said there's water in the gasoline. So I had it fixed. It was like $400. I mentioned it to somebody else who was in the business, and I said, listen, all you got to do is send that receipt that you had it fixed, and then when you bought the gasoline back to the major oil company, and they'll pay it because they'll fix your car because they're worried they don't want the reputation of their gasoline compromised. So Buc-ees, there was a story in the Chronicle a while ago. They don't do that. If you have a problem with the gasoline that you buy at Buc-ees, you're out of luck. They won't accept any kind of complaint.
Well,
I would never buy gasoline there. I would never buy gasoline from anybody but a major oil company.
Okay, thank you for that.
Interesting point.
I would also invite Buc-ees if they would like to refute that.
Buc-ees can join us anytime they would like.
We have another Robert from Dayton on the line regarding Buc-ees. Hello, Robert from Dayton. Welcome to Hello Houston.
Yeah, the problem I have with Buc-ees is they have no seating for veterans or the elderly. And I asked them, I said, why do you have handicap parking marked off? And he said, the state makes us do that. So
yeah,
I've sat in the floor of Buc-ees, and
I don't think they have seating for anybody, do they, Robert?
Well, exactly. But if you're old or crippled, then you need you need someplace to sit, and they don't offer anything
Robert,
or even
I'm
an
sorry.
apology.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for your experience there.
It sounds like they don't want you.
there.
They don't want you lingering.
Right,
To be honest,
that's part of their business plan. Keep the crowds moving.
Yeah,
so
shop
they don't
and
have
go.
the seats. Yeah, but yeah, Robert brings up a good point though. You got to consider that not everyone's the same. Some people need to sit. You
Absolutely.
know? I've taken my mom places when I don't see a place.
and
for
they
her to
sell
sit.
food. Which, by the way, I love their barbecue. But they do sell food, and if you're going to sell food and then you don't have anywhere to sit to eat it, it's like you got to take it to your car.
713-440-8870. James from the medical center is with us. James, you got some sirens going by you. What's going on?
This may be a different story.
Guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can now.
Yeah, my complaint about Buc-ee's is a lot of times when I go and I'm trying to get gas, there are big pickups with large towing things that they're towing on trailers, and they fill up almost the whole row of pumps.
Mm-hmm.
And then they sit there. The cars, they're shut down, locked up. Gas is plugged in, but it's all filled. And they're in there for, I don't know, one time I waited for, I went in the store, and that same truck was out there, and no access to the pumps.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked them about it, and they don't seem to care.
Yeah, I hear you on that. And I mean, I'm sure that there are a lot of issues with how they move traffic through these places. And part of the problem is their incredible success has led to congestion and how they handle that. But that is something as an organization they need to look at.
Well,
Make sure they move them along.
And speaking of congestion, there's serious traffic on I-45 South on the way to Galveston. And there's one exit to get to Buc-ee's. There's a big Buc-ee's on the way. Let me tell you, that line of cars that like you were talking about, every time we go to Galveston, it doesn't matter what time of day, there's a huge line to get into Buc-ee's.
Yeah.
All
Well,
right.
keep all of that in mind. We're going to continue to monitor the Buc-ee's chat really quickly. We want to grab a couple of the calls and reactions to the Snap story we were talking about at the beginning of this segment. So let's grab Nicole from Willowbrook. Nicole, what's on your mind?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that when people talk about what should happen, I think we all have to be careful. I think what should is, like always, the best case scenario. But I think also we have to not come from our worldview and think about what people's reality could be.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think there are a lot of people who get SNAP benefits who are working poor, and it's not about just can they afford to get healthy foods. It's things that are convenient. Typically, if you're getting like vegan food or things that are really healthy, they're the most expensive things in the store, and grocery prices are already very expensive. So I think if you're like a chef or someone who gets to source products, that's a whole different story than someone who might be working 2 or 3 jobs. They have to make meals really quickly for their children or for like their elderly parents or whatever the case may be. I think sometimes the cooking and eating healthy foods is more based on convenience and like what is the quickest meal that I can make in this time frame than just like what can I afford. I think people, if they had the opportunity to eat healthier, they would. And I also want to say I do love Buc-ee's barbecue as well. So.
All right, thank you.
for
I
that,
agree.
Nicole. Those are good points, valid points. Let's quickly grab Andreas from Katy. Andreas, what's on your mind?
On my mind are the big lines of shelves in the groceries with very unhealthy cereal for breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
What we feed our kids in order to get energy. And I have been trying to find alternatives for less sugary one. I have myself made one as well for trying to and selling it on the farmer's market. But I must say, at the end of the day, the sweetness is what the people like and not the health part of it. And I'm a little bit disappointed about that situation, that we are all that we are not educated enough that sugar is really very, very bad.
Thank you, Andreas, for those comments. It's interesting. We build an industry there that builds up and promotes those sugary, fun, colorful, unhealthy foods, and we promote and build. And then for the people that are trying to get them, we're saying, no, you can't have any.
Well, and then I'll try Cheerios, and I have to put some sugar on it. So,
Frank. All right,
like
on
Honey Bunches
that
of Oats.
note, we're going to take a quick break, and we will be back, and it's time to learn about those prediction markets. What are we talking about? What do they mean? Is it gambling? Those questions and more will be answered right after this. You're listening to Hello Houston.
We know you value Houston Public Media. That's why you're watching right now. So take the next step and become a new member of the station you rely on. Every gift makes a difference. And what matters most right now is supporting the station that brings you the news and information you rely on. It only takes a minute to make a big difference. So join as a new member today at houstonpublicmedia.org/donate or call 800-364-8300.
It's been a minute. I'm getting into what healthy really means and the more complicated story of our country's health.
And on Wildcard, comedian Wanda Sykes on trying to understand God.
Oh boy, you are in a pickle right now, guy. What you gonna do about this?
That's on Wildcard, and It's Been a Minute from NPR.
It's Been a Minute, Saturday at 6 p.m. on News 88.7.
Support comes from Hildebrand MBA at UT Austin's McCombs School of Business, offering the Weekend MBA at Houston. Networking event March 19th at new campus location, City Center. Details at texasmbaevents.com. Make it here.
Support comes from Visit Galveston, presenting the Zopé Italian Family Circus, a one-ring show that includes acrobatics, equestrian stunts, clowns, and storytelling. March 6th through 30th. Tickets at visitgalveston.com.
Support for Houston Public Media comes from Good Reason Houston, bringing together educators, families, and community leaders to strengthen public education in Houston. Learn more at goodreasonhouston.org.
And now back to Hello Houston. To comment on today's topics, call or text 713-440-8870 or email us at talk@hellohouston.org. Now here's Ernie Manous and Frank Billingsley.
You may have seen the ads from companies like Kalshi or Polymarket. Bet on anything, and that seems to be fairly true. You go on Kalshi's website, and you can make wagers on everything from which school will win March Madness to who will be president next 2028. You can bet on what Trump will say during his Women's History Month event. The rise of what they call prediction markets has seemingly happened at warp speed. But where exactly did the idea of betting on anything come from? And by anything, we mean anything. Sports gambling may only be legal in certain states, but prediction market companies operate in all 50 and are regulated by the Commodity Futures Trading Commission. Kalshi functions within the commodities regulatory framework rather than under state-level gaming laws. So this gets a bit murky. It moves quickly, and we have David Gouker, publisher of the Event Horizon newsletter, to sort it all out. David, welcome to Hello Houston.
And it's Dustin. My uncle is David, but Dustin Gouker. I read a newsletter about all of this. Thanks for having me on the show. My wife's from Houston originally, so it's stoked to come on.
Well, then it's coming home family day today for us. Start me off, Dustin. Help me understand. So when we talk, a lot of people have no idea what we're even talking about. We're kind of a little educated on. Explain what prediction markets are.
Prediction markets are, you got it. It's you can trade on anything or bet on anything depending on whose PR you want to listen to. But the biggest ones are Kalshi and Polymarket, which have really grown in the last couple of years. But yeah, it's binary outcomes, yes or no, on will an event happen or will it not happen? Will the Rockets win tonight's game? I don't know if they're playing tonight, but will Donald Trump win the 2024 election, or will JD Vance win the 2028 election? And it's really only it's only limited by your imagination. It can be who's going to win Survivor. How much snowfall will there be in New York tomorrow? There's all these. It is betting on anything. And,
okay, you're using the term.
You're
using the term betting, and from what you're describing, sounds like you're betting on an outcome, like you would with a sporting event. But it's kind of been presented in a way that it's like buying shares in a stock, which I don't understand how we make that connection for what you're actually doing. When you lay that money down, you're not buying a stock in something. How does this work?
Yeah, I mean, the easiest way to describe it is everybody's probably familiar with betting on a sports book, right? You bet $1 against DraftKings. If you win, you get another $1 if it's 1-to-1, and if you lose, DraftKings gets your money. Kalshi and Polymarket exchange, where it's a peer-to-peer exchange where anybody can go on there and anybody can trade on outcomes of anything. A lot of times that's a market maker that's a little more sophisticated, but we'll leave that to another day, I think. But at the core, like, again, let's say you and I want to bet on an NBA game tonight. Like, you like the Lakers and I like the Rockets. We just call that a bet, right? We wouldn't say we're trading on the outcome of the event. The same dynamic happens at prediction markets. You are saying, I think this team is going to win. Somebody, whoever that is, says, I think this other team is going to win, and you trade on it. And again, that the thing that you're doing at core is betting. It's betting on an outcome of a thing. Sometimes people are very good at that and are going to win, but at the same time, it's the underlying activity and what most people are doing is gambling.
Well, David, you touched on this. Odds are what make a bet, right? When I buy Shell stock, I don't buy it based on the odds that it will go up or down. I buy it on the faith in the company to make money and turn a profit. So let's get back to this odds thing, because if I bet $10 on the Rockets winning and they win, do I double my money? How does that work?
Yeah, same as again, it's a sports book. Whatever the odds are at the time.
There are odds. There are odds. So if I go on, it'll say the odds are that the Rockets will win 5-1 odds, the Lakers 3-1 odds. Is that how that works?
Yeah, you get paid on the odds. It's expressed sometimes in percentages, like a 20% chance that they'll win or an 80% chance that they win. Obviously, if they're an underdog at 20%, and then if they win, you get all of you get their money plus your winnings at it. It's again the same. You could also go on Kalshi and Polymarket, and it will be expressed. It can be expressed like odds, just like on a sports book. Like minus 110 is what the standard line is in sports betting, and you'll see that at times at Kalshi and Polymarket. But yeah, again, and most of this is sports betting. That's the other thing. We talk about the everything. Most of what's going on in the United States right now is sports betting. 85-90% of all the volume, all the trades that are happening at Kalshi and some of these U.S. regulated prediction markets are on sports events.
And do they send some 1099 to the IRS that I won $1,000?
I think they're not. It's a good question. What's going on? I think I've seen differing things of what's going on, but it's not necessarily considered gambling. It might be considered capital gains because you're trading / investing, but it's because it's specifically not. You're not going to get the 1099-G that you would from if it was gambling. So.
Okay, then take me back again to what you were talking about. I'm having trouble with the switching of the terms back and forth. Trading, betting. You're making a bet. You're making a trade. What are the differences in those words and those concepts, or are they the same thing? When we are buying a stock, in a sense, we are betting on this company performing well.
Yeah. I mean, there are some ways same. I use them interchangeably a lot. Again, I look at it like the behavior is betting. Legally, right now, it's legal in 50 states federally, and it's considered trading and investing. It's not considered betting or gambling. You get, you can apply the same words to whether you're betting on a stock or whether you're trading a stock. One of the dynamics is you can trade in and out of positions too. Like you can, again, going back to the NBA analogy, you can trade on you think Houston's going to win, but if you they're not doing very well, I don't want this anymore. You can sell your position most of the time and say I think you're going to lose, I'm going to sell at a loss, or if they're up and I think they're going to win, but I'd rather lock in my profits. You can say I'm going to trade out of this position and say and make some money. So it is, and there are both things at core. It's one thing or the other isn't necessarily right or wrong. I use them kind of interchangeably. Again, most of it is a legal distinction. Right. It's not called betting because there's federal court cases all over the country right now about whether this is legal, and to call it betting would be to kind of admit to reveal the plot that this is betting.
Okay, let me move away from that whole aspect of the conversation and move into how it predicts things and tells us the outcomes of things and why we should pay attention to how people are trading, betting on these outcomes to help us define what is going to happen. It seems to me it's like with a lot of surveys that happen where people give public opinion surveys, but it's not based in the reality of understanding the full situation. Why do they feel these have a predictive nature to them?
It's complicated. It's a market, right? It's not when you place money into a trade at Kalshi or Polymarket, you're not saying this is what I'm going to do. Like a poll, right? This is what I'm going to do. This is what I think. When you're putting money on it, you think this is what's going to happen. So the market will express that in a way that polls and other things can't. So it does get at this idea that's I caution not to call it the truth or predicting things. It gives us probabilities of things happening, and I think that's still interesting. But it's not necessarily this truth machine that we keep seeing over and over, I think, in the press around these things. It's not going to always tell us who's going to win. Again, keep using the sports analogy because it's the easiest thing. If the Rockets are minus 110, 50% to win, that means 50% of the time they're going to lose. Same, like if you're a 90% favorite, 10% of the time they're going to lose. It doesn't necessarily tell us that they're going to, like, the final outcome. It tells us the probability of an event happening. And I think that's really interesting. Things like, will the government shut down? Late last year when the initial government shutdown happened, the prediction markets were really good at giving us the probability that, yes, the government will shut down. And then in turn, how long will the government be shut down? It's a lot able to price things and give us probabilities of things in ways that it's hard to do otherwise without prediction markets.
We're talking to Dustin Gouker with the Event Horizon newsletter. If you'd like to join the conversation, 713-440-8870. Dustin, let me ask you what you think about this. We got an email. It's called tokenization. It's the new thing thanks to blockchain technology, and it's another form of asymmetrical extraction, this time money from one party to the other. Highly unethical and just another form of abuse, smokescreened as entertainment. Everyone will regret it when they start seeing a series on Netflix showing teenagers and uneducated young people doing unethical things for the hope of a payday.
I agree with all that. Tokenization is coming to prediction markets too, and also a lot of it happens on crypto rails and through cryptocurrencies. And here's the core thing: like prediction markets, there's this greater good. There's a use case. Knowing probability is interesting. We learn more about the world. All that's great. To get to that information, people are going to have to lose money, right? Same in sports betting, same in the stock market, same day trading, meme coins. You could say this about almost anything that's financialized in the world. There are losers and there are winners. And, the losers are often going to be the people who are, not as good at this, less educated about it, like less sharp about whatever they're trading. And the same dynamic is going to happen at prediction markets. The people who are taking the other side of your bets is usually very sophisticated, has a lot of capital, and is very good at doing this. And the average person is going to lose, even though Kalshi and Polymarket are not the house like DraftKings and FanDuel and other sports books are. You're still going into it. Most average people, when they're betting or trading into this, are going to lose.
Yeah, I've heard the defense of of all of these markets that there is no house. And so there's not a house with betting odds, and therefore it's not like the Caesar's Palace. But I think we're getting the same thing here on some of our YouTube comments. It sure seems like just gambling. It's hard to see the difference.
There's a difference at core. It is not the house. It's a place where people meet and trade and bet on things, right? Kalshi, at least, the Polymarket less so. Kalshi takes fees too, right? Every time you trade, they're taking a cut of the transaction, and that's how they make their money. So they're also incentivized. The more you trade, the more they're going to make money. But yes, you break it down. There are great use cases. There are reasons for this to exist. There are people who are actually hedging on certain things. The interest rate, the Federal Reserve, whether they'll raise or lower the interest rate. It's a really good case. Real estate markets. What's the median home price going to be in Houston next week? There's actual reasons for those things to exist. But the core thing that's happening is speculation, gambling. Just not. It's hard to not see it as that. Will it get to a point where there's more of this big idea thing of prediction markets and trading on everything and financializing everything and learning the truth more about things? We may get there, but right now it's mostly betting on sports.
You use the term again. I'm going to wordsmith this and help me through it. Knowing probabilities. By looking at this, probabilities of something happening. And my argument would be, no, you don't. There's absolutely nothing in that. If it was a group of experts who had studied a particular situation, so they're coming at it with an educated understanding of the situation, and they're saying this may happen, and you poll them, then the probabilities of something happening. To have any random people just guessing what they think is simply a crapshoot. I don't know how it correlates into even the terminology of probability markets. and that the offshoot danger of it is maybe financially being invested in a certain outcome shifts what you do to make that outcome happen. So I'm really concerned about this whole concept. Help me with it.
Yeah, I think there's arguments both ways, but I mean, the more liquid a market is and the more people and participants there are, the closer we are to that, right? There's, if it was all just random people like throwing darts, probably agree with you. But there are participants in almost every market that are doing research, even down to you mentioned what's Trump going to say at a press conference tomorrow. There are people who like spend an inordinate amount of time analyzing what he says, analyze what he probably will say, and probably have an edge on that market and are able to do that. Again, who cares what Trump says?
If it were his speech writers, then I would say there's the probability of what he's going to say, because these folks have knowledge of what's going to happen and are involved in the process. But if Frank decides, well, I think he's going to say this, that doesn't help the probabilities. And if 1,000 Franks say it, nothing personal, Frank, it doesn't make it more real. That's my problem with this.
Yeah, I mean, Frank sounds like Frank's a terrible bettor. He should not be on prediction markets at all.
Frank actually is pretty good with his intuition, but that's beside the point. Help me with this, though.
Yeah, again, the overarching idea, and this is maybe a little too far out of my lane, of like the wisdom of crowds, right? Like there's this idea you put enough people into a market, enough money into a market, and people expressing their opinions that the market will come to agree on. This is the probability of a thing to happen. This is the argument for, and it's maybe different. It's no really different than other markets, right? Like what's the value of a company and their stock? It's where buyers and sellers are willing to meet on a price. So
and I get that.
There's that.
I believe in that part of it. I don't understand the predictive nature. It sounds like a Ouija board, and it's wherever people
that's the
push
thing.
it
I don't
to
think
go.
it's predicting anything. It is telling us maybe this will happen or maybe it won't. And again, if it's a 50-50, that's a coin flip, right? We don't know what's going to happen then. And I totally agree that this is not something that is actually predicting anything. It is telling us right now, a bunch of people who are putting money into this market think there's a X% of this thing happening. Sometimes that thing will happen and sometimes it will not, based on the probabilities. And, it won't always get it right. It doesn't always get it right. Another great example was we had jobs report for February recently. Kalshi was predicting that we'd add 60,000 jobs to the economy. What happened? Actually, 90,000 jobs were lost, and it was wrong, entirely wrong. So it's not always perfect. It's not this foolproof thing that is always going to get reality right.
And I just want to say, I'm sorry if I'm coming at you like you are Mr. Prediction Market and I'm arguing with you about, I understand you cover this. I'm asking you to understand. So I apologize if it comes off
I'm trying to give you the argument on both sides.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to set that out.
Well, the courts have agreed that this should be a commodity futures trading, that it's under that commission. But there are some lawsuits. Am I right about that, Dustin? How does Las Vegas feel about what's going on here?
Yeah, there's federal court cases all over the place. So what happened was a bunch of states sent cease and desist orders saying, we never legalized sports betting, or like, what are you doing here? You can't do this. So they sent a letter to Kalshi and some of the other operators in the space, said, knock it off, get out. In turn, a lot of times Kalshi and some of the other operators then sued the states to say, you can't stop us from doing this. We're federally regulated. We don't care about your state gambling laws. And we're at various points of this. There's one in Nevada as well. I'd say Nevada doesn't like this at all. There is online betting, but there's not as much of it. But it's also as much of a problem in places that have never legalized sports betting, namely Texas, right? Texas never legalized sports betting. Guess what? You guys can go bet on March Madness right now if you wanted to in Texas at most prediction markets that are offering this. So this legal battle has been going for more than a year now. We're going to see it continue to play out over the next couple of years. It'll eventually get to the Supreme Court, which will, at the end of the day, hopefully tell us whether this is legal sports betting or legal prediction marketing or not, and we'll all be able to move on with our lives.
Well, we got one YouTube comment. I predict only the owners of the businesses will make money long term, not the customers. So I would predict that the odds are pretty much on the owners, don't you?
I agree. They that YouTube commenter has it spot on.
Dustin Gouker is the publisher of The Event Horizon, a Substack newsletter focused on the prediction market industry. Dustin, thank you so much for being with us.
Cheers. Thanks for having me.
Really appreciate it. Coming up, our last minute plans and yours. Let us know what they are. Stay with us. Hello Houston continues.
Weird.
It's not just your car. It's the one that brought your kids home from school, took you cross country, held memories, laughter, even a few breakdowns. When it's time to let go, give your car a new purpose. Donate it and turn memories into meaningful support for this station. Plus, you'll enjoy free and easy pickup, potential tax benefits, and a simple donation process. Your gift supports the programs you and your family love. Donate today and help keep public media strong. Call or donate online.
Houston Public Media comes from listeners like you and from Baylor College of Medicine. Baylor's work centers on advancing health and medicine through research, education, and patient care.
Support comes from Base Power. As hurricane season approaches, Base offers energy plans with automatic whole home battery backup with new extended outage protection. Eligibility details at basepower.com/NPR.
Support comes from the law firm McFarland PLLC, eminent domain attorneys focused exclusively on representing landowners against the government's taking of private property for public use across the state of Texas. More at McFarlandPLLC.com.
Support comes from Asia Society Texas, offering spring break anime workshops and the closing weeks of the House of Pikachu, art, anime, and pop culture exhibition. More information at asiasociety.org/Texas.
And now back to Hello Houston. To comment on today's topics, call or text 713-440-8870 or email us at talk@hellohouston.org. Now here's Ernie Manous and Frank Billingsley.
A lively show by any stretch of the imagination. You
That
could
whole
bet
thing.
on that.
You know, that's disguised.
Yeah. Okay. Sean Radigan commented over in YouTube. Ernie doesn't understand how bookies make their numbers. That very well may be true. I have a very light understanding of all that. The rest of the comment is Frank is conflating it with poker at a casino. Okay. Sean, my problem is that it isn't what is happening in the realm of it happening. My problem is how it is being interpreted. I watch the news and they say, according to Kalshi markets, this is how things are going. But it's not. It's people's opinions of something as opposed to fact. And both have a place out there in the world. But we do the Houston area survey every year. It happens in this market. And it's people's opinions of the situation. They may talk about congestion or they may talk about diversity or whatever the questions are in the survey. My thing is, but it's a bunch of random people thinking what they think, not a group of experts telling us what the facts lead to. And that's the same way I feel about this. If you were polling a bunch of, as we said in an example I gave during, speech writers about what the president's going to say, I have a very good idea of what the president's going to say. But a bunch of random people just guessing at what they think he's going to say, then this is just gambling and it's just opinion polls. Well, and I don't think we should put so much effort on what those polls tell us.
I wonder if the Oscars are on there.
Oh, absolutely.
Go
they're
bet on
on
them.
there.
See how you do. You might make some money.
Yeah, I'm not going to bet. I'm not a bettor. I am not one who bets that. Are you a bettor?
Not really, no.
Yeah.
No. And when we go to Vegas, we may play a little slots and a few tables, but nothing big.
I had a friend I went to Vegas with. He lost every time he played the slots. I said to him, you know what you should do? You should take your quarters and just throw them in the toilet and flush because you'll have the same return on that as you would playing a slot machine because you cannot win.
Well, your best odds are with craps, but I don't understand craps. But only I should probably learn it, but because it looks fun. Mm-hmm. But that you actually have a little bit of a chance with craps. Other than that, now if you play by the rules when you play blackjack and you don't let your greed get a hold of you, you'll probably at least break even.
Yeah.
Just play by the rules, split aces and eights. Don't turn bad hands into or good hands into bad hands. You don't want to split kings or queens, things like that. So if you play by the rules of blackjack, you probably come out at least even, maybe a little ahead.
We've joked about this on the air before. I am such a non-gambler. I don't even have investments. All of my money is in a savings account.
I'm really upset with you about that, by the way. And if
I just don't trust anything, It's my money. I'm holding my money. I'm not just giving it away.
It's not growing.
Yeah, well.
I don't care. As long as I know I still have $14, I'm happy.
Right, and I got that $14. When I go to Vegas, and then we'll get on to what we're supposed to be talking about. When I go to Vegas, I have in one pocket the money that I'm going to gamble with, and the other pocket's empty. And I start playing. Every time I win, money goes into the pocket I'm winning, the empty pocket.
Right.
And when the gamble pocket is empty, I'm done.
Well, if you could play with house money, more power to you.
Yeah, well, pants money. That's what I play with.
What are you doing this weekend?
This weekend, I'm going to watch the Oscars.
That's Sunday.
That's Sunday night.
But you're not having a big party, a little party.
No, I'm having hot dogs and popcorn. If you want to come by and have some hot dogs and popcorn, anyone is welcome. I got about 24 hot dogs and 24 buns. So when those are done, they're done.
It's like Buc-ee's. Get there. If you're 25, you're done.
Yeah.
You're not going to get a hot dog.
That's it. I don't have any big plans for the weekend. As I have talked a number of times on the show, we're having a little trouble finding a caregiver for my mom on weekends and evenings. We have our regular day set. So that means pretty much my weekend is caregiving mom. So I'm with mom. We'll watch some TV. We may go out for a ride. Make good Dairy Queen. She loves an ice cream cone. You know, just little things like that. Nothing major. I pretend I'm going to clean out the garage on Saturday. That is the pretend goal. But
I have those kind of goals too.
Yeah, but you're actually going to do something this weekend.
Kevin's going to pick me up from here. We're going to drive down to Galveston, and that's where we'll be for the weekend.
Looking for the blue water?
I'm hoping it's blue. I'm hoping I'm right about that. We're going to go to the Grand Opera House tomorrow. There are 8 of us, and we're going to watch the Freddie Mercury show. It's tonight and tomorrow night. And it's weird. We saw the last, I want to say it was March of 2020, and he was playing the Freddie Mercury show, this guy. And we saw it. It was the last show before COVID. And then the Grand shut down. And so we're going to go back tonight and see, tomorrow night and see the Freddie Mercury show.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Yeah, it's good. We've seen it before, but we'll see if it's changed a little bit. But I mean, I'm a big Freddie Mercury fan.
Big Queen fan?
Yeah, I mean, they were so terrific. And, you know, his life and career were cut so short when he was in his 40s. And it's such a shame that we lost that talent. But we still have his legacy.
His body of work.
So we're going to do
I'll
that.
talk about that in a second. I do want to remind everyone, we want to know what you're doing this weekend. Or if you know of an event we should be talking about, send it to us now. Talk at hellohouston.org or give us a call, 713.
British computer guy says you're a good son, Ernie.
Oh, well.
I got your number off.
I try to be. 713-440-8870. You can always cut off the number for a compliment of Ernie. I'll always make room for those. They are few and far between. My British computer guy also says, speaking of the Museum of Fine Arts, which we were talking about a little earlier, talking about Oscars and that they do the shorts screening there. My British computer guy, they're doing a screening of Time Bandits at 8 p.m. tonight as part of their Moonlight movie screening. So you can go there and see it. Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo is going on. I want to mention, you were talking about Queen and Freddie Mercury. He knew his time was done, and he recorded an album while he was just in the throes of passing on.
Well,
and
he knew
it is
he had
a beautiful album called Made in Heaven.
Yeah.
And it's really, when you know that this man who was recording it, part of the vocals were recorded with him laying down because he couldn't stand up anymore, and then they finished the album after he passed. It really is just a touching, beautiful album if you haven't listened to it.
Well, when he did the Live Aid concert, he knew that he had AIDS.
Yeah.
And went through with it, and didn't miss a beat. Yeah. This is called, by the way, One Night of Queen, and it's Gary Mullen and the Works, and it's pretty terrific. So that's we're gonna
Some people call this show an oddity and a curiosity. Well, the Oddities and Curiosity Expo is going on this weekend over the George R. Brown Convention Center. It does have an admission fee, but children under 12 are free. And it features unconventional art, oddity vendors, taxidermy workshops, and unusual collectibles. That sounds like an interesting event.
Anything with taxidermy is an unusual collectible.
You want something free? How about the, no, that isn't free. Here's the free one. Arts Break Spring Break Series, the final day of the first week. It's going to be at the Cynthia Woods Mitchell Pavilion Event Center. Free admission. It's family shows and interactive performances during spring break. And I think so that'll be wrapping up, but give that a look over at the Cynthia Woods Mitchell Pavilion.
Is the rodeo this weekend?
Rodeo's going on. Rodeo. Sunday, Go Tejano Day at the rodeo. We were talking about that.
Oh, yeah. That'll be fun.
There is, of course, admission price to get into the park. But then as we talked about, there are things going on all over. You don't have to just go to the show in the stadium. You can also, it's Rodeo's largest cultural event featuring Mexican music, rodeo competition, carnival rides, food vendors, and there's music all over the place. So,
and the cousin to the rodeo, right? Farmer markets.
Yeah.
They're all over the place, and they're free. You may find some healthy food choices.
Yeah, text said fun, and you may find, as Frank said, healthy food choices there. And the weather for the weekend, Frank.
It's going to be beautiful.
Until Saturday night.
Beautiful out there today. High temperatures are going to be in the upper 60s to low 70s this afternoon. It'll be in the 50s overnight tonight. Then we'll get a little warmer as we go towards Sunday. But Sunday evening, it looks like, is when this next front comes through, and there is a slight chance for some severe weather.
I need hours because I want to know, are people going to get into my house before the rain starts, and will it rain during the Oscars and then they can leave in dry weather again, or are we going to be rainy all night?
I think they will make it just in time.
Speaking of making it just in time, we've made it to the end of the show just in time. You've been enjoying I hope you've been enjoying Hello Houston. We've been enjoying it. We want to thank you for listening. Want to thank you for watching. We're going to be back on Monday with more conversation. Don't forget, on the weekends, we have the best of Hello Houston. I don't know if legally we can call it best, but
Why not? How about the greatest?
The greatest of Hello Houston, Saturdays at 1 p.m., Sundays at 11 a.m. right here on News 88.7. And something big is happening Wednesday night, 5 o'clock. We're going to be on TV. Watch for that. We'll tell you more on Monday.
We love you, Houston. Have a good weekend.
Thanks for listening to Hello Houston. Join us every Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. to talk all things Houston. The Hello Houston production team includes Garrett Bowman, William Menjivar, Jen Altide, Todd Holslander, and Jim Kovacic. For the latest in local news, subscribe to the Hello Houston daily newsletter at HoustonPublicMedia.org. Hello Houston is a production of Houston Public Media. The opinions expressed by the guests of this program are solely their own and do not represent the views of management, staff, or underwriters of Houston Public Media. This is News 88.7.
When it comes to regulation, the old-fashioned